What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, you're going to learn how to maximize your damage output in Odin Valhalla Rising. In this beginner-friendly guide, we're going to cover the fundamentals of damage dealing, all kinds of different factors that play a role in your damage output. Like and sub for more amazing game content. If you have not already downloaded Odin, I have a link down below in the description box and the pinned comment. I am a part of the creator program, so if you go ahead and you download the game using my link, it helps me out a ton. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you in advance. You know, it's a little bit more complicated than it seems, and then it isn't, so there's a little bit of different things going on to it. So the first thing I want to go over is our character level. And then the game also is going to give you what your attack level and defense level is. Some people may have not even noticed it. It is in your character details. So right now you can see at the bottom, I am a level 52. Right here is where it says it. We have our combat power. We're about to hit level 53 very, very soon. So 52 is what our actual level is. Now, if we go into our character details, like our breakdown of everything, we can see our bag and our character with our equipment. In the bottom left corner, I'm going to have to move my camera. It's going to be a little bit kind of hard to see. But down below right here in this bottom left corner, it says attack level and defense level. Now, what this does is this kind of gives you a breakdown or a good idea based on your stats of what your attack level is and your defense level is. So you could be, let's say you rush the game, you rush your experience, you're getting carried all the time by other big players in your guild, and you're leveling up really, really fast. And let's say you're at like level 55, 60. Your attack and defense might not actually be on par for what your overall real level is. And this is how you kind of can get a better understanding for that, is in that bottom left corner. So this lets you know if your stats are on par with your actual level. So this could be an instance of, hey, maybe you need to work on your gear. Or the other thing would be, hey, maybe you need to go ahead and work on your item collection, because item collection is like the best way to kind of increase your stats. It's something you can always kind of work towards. Gear can be a little bit tough because once you do get to like all the top tier blue gear, purple is a big jump, right? Like going from like the top tier blues to the purples, going to take you a very, very long time, depending on if you're spending money or not. So, you know, you can kind of hit a bottleneck with your stat increase when it comes to your equipment, because at that point it just comes down to crafting, you know, the same blues and then just trying to get a higher enhancement level on them, which is, you know, another option that some people go about instead of even trying to worry about trying to craft a purple. Some people will just keep crafting the highest tier blues and just try and get it to like enhancement 6, enhancement 7, maybe 8 if you're super lucky. But you can see at the bottom right now, it says, it's even a little bit hard for me to see, my attack level is 51.7 and my defense is 51. And then remember, my overall actual real level is 52. So we're pretty close. We're pretty on par with what we should be doing. We're, you know, still need improvement, right? We still are a little bit behind our actual level. Plus, we're about to hit level 53, so that could change as well. So, you know, that's my first tip, is to pay attention to that bottom left corner to see how you are progressing, because it really gives you a good idea of what you need to do. Now, the next thing is we go ahead and we look at our stats. To increase our damage output, the main one is obviously going to be attack. And what attack does is it goes ahead and it is compared to the monster's defense. But you can also get a breakdown. If you click where it says attack, it'll tell you your current damage output percentage based on enemies that are the same level as you. You can see right now my current damage is only 98%, That means my attack power is actually a little bit lower than it should be. We're not getting the full 100% for my actual level. So this is a good indication that, hey, I need to bump my attack up maybe 2 or 3 points. And then once I see that it's like at least at 100%, then I know I'm good, I'm on par. If you're above 100%, you'll typically see that with your alts, your alt characters. If you put all of your main gear on your alt character, you'll see that when you have like a new alt character that's level 10 and he's got like ridiculous gear, your attack, your damage output's going to be ridiculous. It'll be like 120% or something. So that just means that, you know, you're doing really, really good. You're above where you should be. You're kind of more advanced, but you're typically will usually only see that on your alt accounts unless you're like a big spender and you know, you spend a ton of money and you're actually like stronger than what your actual level is. Like your stats are higher than what your actual level is. Aside from attack, you also have attack speed, which can really help out as well. The higher your attack speed, the more attacks you can go ahead and do, which really, you know, adds to that damage output. So the attack speed, I feel, is one that kind of affects different classes in a different way. I think attack speed benefits the Berserker class a lot more. And that's strictly going to be something you may not notice until later game when you unlock the Berserker's really ridiculous skills. Because the Berserker has skills where it basically becomes like invincible and then it like heals itself based on the damage it deals. I mean, those are like the legendary, like ridiculous skills it has that are like 50 million gold or whatever, you know what I mean? So realistically, you're not going to see those for a while. But like that is why the attack speed is so big with the Berserker, because if you can just do a ton of basic attacks really fast, you're basically going to heal up, you know, as opposed to if you were just casting your skills, because it's not going to be the same. So attack speed, you know, something that's important, but depends on your class. Then we have something like casting speed, where casting speed isn't going to be super beneficial to the Berserker, because like I said, we want to do lots of basic attacks. But casting speed is going to be really important if you're like a wizard, right? A damage dealing, you know, magic damage dealer, a wizard, sorcerer, whatever it's called. Those that really focus on not having good basic attacks, but really good skills, they're going to benefit a lot more from casting speed. So if you are like a wizard, you're going to want to focus on casting speed a lot more, as opposed to, you know, just attack speed. And then from there, we have our accuracy. Accuracy is arguably what I would say the most important, because if your accuracy is not good enough, it doesn't matter how high your attack power is if your attacks are always missing. So accuracy is one that can help you out so much with damage output, even though it doesn't seem like it is, right? Even though like your attack itself might still be under 100%, if your accuracy is really high and, you know, like 60% of your attacks are hitting, as opposed to only 50 or however high percentage you have, I mean, you can see like it plays a huge role. Like if we even just like look at this, you can see the numbers as I'm going ahead and I'm attacking these monsters. We're doing damage, but occasionally you're going to see a miss. So right now, this isn't too bad because we're seeing mostly numbers. So pretty much all my attacks are typically hitting, with the exception that maybe once in a while I'll have a missed attack. If I go and I start attacking monsters that are like a little bit of a higher level than me, or even like the same level, depending on if your accuracy isn't good enough, you'll notice that you'll just see miss. Like you'll just see tons and tons of misses, and you won't be putting out any damage at all. So at that point, it doesn't matter if your attack is really high, because if your attacks are not even hitting, your damage output overall is really bad. As far as like melee accuracy or ranged accuracy, That's just a stat that gets added to your overall regular accuracy. It's just a way to kind of confuse you. So just do the most obvious normal thing. If you are a melee damage dealer, focus on just melee accuracy for your item collection. Don't waste upgrading ranged accuracy, because ranged accuracy isn't going to help you. And then if you are a range damage dealer, focus on range accuracy. Don't come in here and put stuff in your codex, your item collection. That's going to increase your melee accuracy, because at that point it's a waste. You might as well just, you know, salvage the item to get the stones, the you know, materials, so you can go ahead and craft something, or even just, you know, try and sell it on the market for 10 diamonds or something. And the other thing that can really play a huge impact with your damage output is your skills. 9 times out of 10, most people are putting their character on auto and they're farming, right? This is kind of like a farming game. This isn't a game where you're like really engaged, unless you're doing like a big boss battle. And even then, people typically put it on auto and just will monitor their character. Very few people actually play on manual. When you are going ahead and doing your AFK farming, it's really important to pay attention to your MP and see how much MP is draining. If you've got all your skills on auto and you constantly have like no MP, and you see your skills are in like red, and basically like you can't use your skills because you don't have enough MP, in that case, it's better to turn off like 1 or 2, right? So depending on, you know, a bunch of different factors, if you're using food buffs that increase your MP regen and stuff like that, but you know, just turn off the ones that aren't giving you the most benefits, the most damage. So if we head on over to our skill book, I had somebody actually point this out to me in one of my previous videos. If you go to where it says edit skill slots, it'll tell you what your auto MP use is every 5 seconds based on how many of your skills you have on auto. This is a great way to kind of determine if you're burning through more MP than you have MP regen. And that's where you would just kind of check this number. So average is 28.56 for me. And then I would go in here and I will check my character, and my MP regen right now is 21. So you can see that my MP regen is slightly lower than my average use for my MP based on my skills. So it's like, you know, slightly a little bit lower, but you'll notice that like you can see I'm still like not falling behind too much. Like the way it's going, I'm good, right? The other thing you have to like keep in mind is if you're able to hit more monsters, it's gonna vary, right? Like if you're in a farming area that's very dense with monsters, you're going to be blowing through your skills a lot faster. If your cooldown for your skills is higher, you know, you could go through your skills a lot faster. If the monsters are more spread out, you know, your character is going to be traveling a lot more. If your speed is slow, it's going to take your character longer to travel from monster to monster. So in that time, you know, your MP is regenning, and you're not actually using skills, even if you did have a skill that you could use, because your character has to travel. There's a lot of little factors like that come into play with your damage output. That is it. That is pretty much the basics when it comes to your damage output in Odin Valhalla Rising. If you have not already, go ahead, use my link down below in the description box. Click that link to download the game. It helps me out. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.